am heading to yoga class. Can you even hear me? I don't know. I don't have much of a voice. The sun's not even up yet. So, talking kind of quiet because people are still asleep. I had my yoga class, Avery went to work out, and making breakfast and having my coffee and trying to drink my coffee not with breakfast anymore. I've just learned a lot about how it's better for you to have it like an hour before or after a meal. I usually drink it while I'm eating breakfast, so I thought I would drink it while I'm cooking. Class was pretty good. It was really chilled, really crowded. I'm looking for something that's more of a workout, I think, almost in the morning. Just trying to get into my workout groove. But besides that, I'm feeling really great. I went to sleep last night. I was in bed by like 9:30 reading my book, which I can't tell you how long it's been since I've actually done that. It's always a goal. It is much later in the day now. I have been working for a while. It's suddenly 2 p.m. somehow. I just finished editing and I'm exporting video for my main channel. Avery's making lunch and I am about to have a phone call with a client, so I'm just preparing. Then we have some photos to shoot for Avery later. We need to do laundry, and I really need to dig into our accounting because partnership taxes are due soon and it's so stressful and horrible. And for my own personal freelance taxes, I use TurboTax, and I find that that's a really good way for me to get educated on how everything works. But for partnership taxes, I need a separate form just from STAATSBALLETT, and it's way more complicated and complex with all of our inventory and other expenses, and we have an accountant do that. Boring, random, but how our taxes are set up with our partnership. We are an LLC, but we are a partnership, and all of our income just flows through onto our personal taxes, which is kind of nice, but it's also not the best because it looks like I'm personally making the money that STAATSBALLETT is making, which we don't really pay ourselves right now, so it's not the case. But you know, boring stuff. I sometimes get questions from you guys about how we set up our trademark and did all of that stuff, and honestly, even though Avery and I did it, I don't think we are the people to ask because I don't remember. It was a while ago, and also it's just so complicated, so good luck if you're doing that right now. Good morning, you guys. I am vlogging again today. I don't even know if I have any other clips to include in this video. That's how much of a mess I am right now. Look at this light. There's so much light coming in, but it is 5 degrees outside today. So I don't think I will be going outside, although Avery and I really need to go to the grocery store. It's just not ideal in this snowy, very cold weather. I've just showered. I did a yoga with Adrian video this morning instead of going to class. I've been going to class like every other day for a little while now, like the past 2 weeks, and I actually feel like I'm reaping the benefits of it. Like last night when I was going to sleep, I was like, wow, like my body feels really good. I am so proud of myself for doing this. I've mentioned it before, but I thought I'd mention it again, and I use ClassPass for my working out. It is so much more affordable than purchasing drop-in classes or purchasing a gym membership that classes are offered in. Like obviously you can go to like Blink Fitness in the city for like $15 a month, but I personally really like taking classes like yoga and Pilates classes, and ClassPass has been the best option for me for that. I know I usually have a referral code down below. For January they did like you get your first month free. I'm not sure if they're still doing that. I know you usually get like $40 off your first month, which usually that can get me like 5 classes, which is pretty amazing because drop-in classes in the city usually run $20 to $30, which is a lot. I couldn't wait for lunch, so I'm having some waffles from Trader Joe's that are gluten-free and dairy-free, although I must say that the Nature's Path waffles are so much better. These ones are just really hard, I find, with some stewed berries. I also melted a few chocolate chips and peanut butter and a bit of maple syrup. Hi you guys, I have sort of failed at vlogging today. I pretty much just worked all day and then we went to the grocery store and then we came home, cooked some dinner. We had lentil pasta and meatballs and an arrabbiata sauce that we made with some broccoli, and it was delicious. Now I am starting to tuck in for the night just because I'm feeling really tired, but I wanted to ask your opinion on what book I should read next. I'll probably start one of these tonight, but these are 4 books that I'm planning to read soon, so I would still like to hear your opinion because whatever you guys pick will probably just be the next one that I read. So I just finished Girl Interrupted earlier, and I really liked that book. It was a super fast read. I read it in a few days. But now I have The Glass Castle. I purchased this used at Housing Works Bookstore Cafe. Highly recommend if you're ever in New York City. Definitely my favorite used bookstore here. I have Sylvia Plath's Johnny Panic and the Bible of Dreams, which is a bunch of like short stories. So maybe this is one that I can read kind of at the same time as other books. I'm also casually picking up The Untethered Soul in between books, which is a book I've already read before, but it's nice to pick up and really shape your mindset as you're going to sleep. And then I have Women Who Run with the Wolves. I have heard from a lot of people that you shouldn't read this all in one go because this is also a bunch of sort of short stories, so maybe this one will go in between while I'm reading other books as well. And then I have Margaret Atwood's Elias Grace, which this one sounds really interesting to me. I enjoyed The Handmaid's Tale, so I thought I would pick this up. I like Margaret Atwood. I have all my female writers here, but I would love to hear your thoughts if you've really enjoyed any of these books, or if you see that I've picked up these books and you think of another book that I might like, comment below for me. I've just done my morning yoga practice, drinking a blueberry banana almond butter and some protein milk smoothie. I've been doing yoga with Adriene videos on days that I don't go take class, and I find it's really good not for, I have a bad habit of saying that, trying to fix it, for a bit more of like a restorative yoga practice. But I'm also looking for some free yoga YouTubers that post some more challenging practices. Like, I love yoga with Adriene and I find her so calming, and maybe I just haven't found the right videos from her because I've probably only watched like 20 or so and she has so many. But I'm looking for something that like I can also like break a sweat in, you know? So if you guys have any recommendations, definitely let me know. This morning I've just been working on shipping some things and scheduling package pickups and all of that fun stuff, and also responding to a bunch of emails. But I'm feeling good. It's looking pretty gloomy and cold outside. I have been wearing these clothes for a few days now, so it's probably time to change. But I just got these lounge pants. I was ordering a scarf from Uniqlo, and to like to use a discount code I needed to increase my cart amount, and I got these and they have been like one of my best purchases in a while. So I'll link them down below if you guys are interested. They are so comfy. I want another pair because I just like put these pants on as soon as I come home, or as soon as I like get ready for bed pretty much. I need to change today. Just when you work from home, it's kind of hard to have the motivation to get ready, especially when it looks like that outside. No!
Papaya skin a little yellow.
Not the prettiest meal I've ever made. We're trying some new veggie burgers we've never tried before, with some chow cheese, tomato, some veganese under there, and some steamed kale. I'm in our office. I locked myself up. I am watching some YouTube videos though, watching Lindsay Hughes right now, and going through all of our bank statements from 2018 and just making sure that we have all of our expenses accounted for. because I set a deadline for the end of this week to have all of our STAATSBALLETT, like partnership taxes done, and I haven't made as much progress as I would like to. But if you use an accountant, make sure that you do as much of the work on your own, as long as you have time to, of course. Do as much of the work on your own as you can, or they are going to charge you a lot of money, because a lot of times they work on like an hourly sort of rate. I'm doing this. It's pretty cold in our office though. The heat's all the way on. It's warm in the rest of our apartment, but not here. So I'm gonna keep going on this. Talk to you guys later.
Actively invented to apply. No more slogging through the wrong resume. Okay. On Friday, President Trump finally agreed to end his ill-fated shutdown that he started over wall funding.
Hello, you guys. It is now Sunday. I didn't vlog at all yesterday. We were pretty much just with friends all day. We had people over during the day and cooked, and then I went out to dinner with some friends later in the evening, and I got home pretty late. But right now we are about to go to Smorgasburg and also to the Brooklyn Flea. They're having a sort of vegan weekend, so we wanted to check it out. Hi you guys, it has truthfully been a couple days. I haven't talked to you since we went to that vegan festival this weekend, and let me tell you, that was a total fail. Like, it was horrible. Horrible is maybe a bit brash, but Smorgasburg made this out to be like this huge vegan weekend, and there just wasn't really anything there. There were like full dead ducks hanging up, and like, I don't know, a few places had like a labeled vegan option, and like we tried something and it just like, it wasn't even good. It was such a waste of energy and money. But now I know, you guys know, if they ever do it again, hopefully they do it better. But I wanted to wrap up this vlog by responding to some of your guys' assumptions about me. I'm sure you've seen this video going around all over YouTube as of lately, and I've been getting so many requests to do it. I just did a video on my main channel though that was like reacting to like my old self and my old outfits, and I don't really want to like clog my channel with that sort of content just because it's not really me. I have enjoyed watching these videos, so I thought I would throw it in here at the end of the vlog. I actually expected people to be mean, but they weren't mean, and I just asked for these on Instagram. If you're not following me, link down below. This first one's funny, and I got some similar ones, or like kind of vice versa of this. It says, "You're not as broke as you claim to be," and I don't know if I ever claim myself to be broke. I think that's a bit of a dangerous mindset to get yourself in, because then it's easier for you to stay that way because you just accept that you don't have the resources that other people have. Like for me, for example, I had myself kind of stuck in this for a little while, but then I was like, this is stupid. Like, you can change it if you really want to. I have a lot of friends in the city that grew up in a much different way than I grew up, and there's nothing wrong with that. My parents don't pay my rent after I graduate college and get a real job. They don't pay for me to go out to a bar on the weekend. And they never have, and I would never expect them to. And I've just like realized that like you can't like get down on yourself because some people have more than you, even if it's like people have drastically more than you. You can only cut down on your budget also so much in terms of being broke, but there are ways that you can try to increase your income. I understand that I totally come from a place of privilege, but I just wanted to share that changing my mindset a bit on that has really helped me. But I don't think that I claim to be broke, and I don't think you should claim to be broke either. And then I also got some assumptions that were like, you have nice things but you're actually really broke. And again, I don't like to use that word. Of course people have more money than me and much more income than me, and I do live on a pretty tight budget, besides buying some nice things for myself and investing in some nice things. But the way that I usually view that is that I can get a similar amount, if not more, for what I paid for it. Like, that's just my mindset going into buying things nowadays. And I'm also still bootstrapping my clothing brand business with my partner Avery, so I do have to live on a bit of a tight budget. I guess we don't have to, but I choose to because I want to invest in my future that way. And I'm very lucky that I can do this and other sort of like influencer things to fund my basic living needs while I put more time into my business. You would consider yourself an old soul? I kind of would. I feel like I've always felt like I'm older than people my age, which I know sometimes can come off as like uppity, like you're being pretentious by thinking that, which I can understand, but I don't know. Like, I have always been more so like looking forward to getting older rather than like wanting to be young, wanting to stay in high school, wanting to like do anything like that. And I think it's just, a lot of it is probably because I was kind of forced to be independent when I was pretty young. And yeah, I don't hate that. I think it's really helped me in my adult life. I assume you're that edgy girl who's very shy but ends up being extremely nice once you know her. That's nice. I think it's kind of weird to be like, yeah, I'm extremely nice, so I'm not gonna say that. I think I'm nice, and I definitely am more on the shy side, or I'm just like not the kind of person that like walks in a room and announces that I'm there, I guess, or anything of the sort. I think that I am more of a listener than a talker. You're really tall. I definitely am taller than average. I'm like 5'9" or 5'10", so if you consider that tall for a girl, I guess I'm really tall. I got some that were like, you miss ham, you miss dairy products, you miss chocolate. I never really liked ham, honestly. Before I started eating a plant-based diet, I didn't even eat that much meat anyways. I probably wouldn't, I don't think I ate a burger or really much red meat. Like, I did not like it at all growing up until I was like 18 and moved out, and then still I didn't love it. So yeah, I pretty much only ate chicken growing up. I don't miss ham. I don't miss dairy products. I definitely used to be addicted to cheese, but I don't miss them whatsoever. I find them disgusting now, to be honest. And chocolate, I still love chocolate, but now I am a dark chocolate girl. I'm very converted, and I find that it fulfills my craving much more quickly than milk chocolate did. It's kind of like, I could compare it to coffee. Like, growing up, coffee kind of tastes bad when it's black coffee and you want like milk, cream, sugar, whatever in it. And now I just want black coffee because that fulfills the need better, more quickly. And I think milk chocolate versus dark chocolate is like that. Some along the lines of, you resent where you're from. And I don't think that's true at all, honestly. I can see how like maybe it would come off that way just because I don't go home that often. But I think it was like a super crucial part of becoming who I am and developing my own beliefs. Like, I was just thinking this the other day that I've grown up and like went into adulthood around so many different types of people, and I feel like I know a lot of people that never really got to experience that, so I'm really glad that I have been able to. So no, I don't resent West Virginia, even though West Virginia does do some questionable things. I don't resent it, but also I would never live there again. You're not into music festivals anymore. I also don't think this is true. I definitely had a phase, I guess you could say, or a part of my life where I went to a lot of camping music festivals. I loved it. Honestly, they are just like repetitive to me at this point, but that doesn't mean I'm not into it. I think I just needed a break because it just felt like such a similar experience most of the time. I would go with like the same people or the same kind of people. Usually see the same artists and bands and DJs because people tour around the same time. And yeah, I wouldn't say I'm over them. I would love to attend some more music festivals, but I am kind of picky on which ones that I want to go to, and I find that I often like concerts a bit more. Someone said, you don't recognize who you were in high school. No, I think I definitely still recognize her. I think I mentioned this in my last video on my main channel when I was like reacting to my old self and style. I think that like people on the internet obviously don't have as much of a view of who I am as I do. And I say that lightly because I think people that like watch me probably know some more things about me than I know about myself. They might even pick up on more things about me and like remember certain parts of my life better because that's what they saw. But I would say like middle school and high school, I was definitely more of a personality on YouTube than I feel like I am now. Like I don't change anything about myself. I don't try to be really upbeat if I'm not feeling upbeat. And yeah, I think that's like the main thing that makes people think that I'm so different now, because I don't act as upbeat. But that's just me coming into myself as I get older and realizing that as a woman, I don't have to act that way for people to like me, and you guys don't have to either if you're struggling with that. I got a lot along the lines of, you and Avery don't want to get married, which I thought was interesting. Or along the lines of, you and Avery are going to get married. On the topic of marriage, I am not against marriage by any means, but I am not the type for a big wedding. Honestly, having a wedding sounds like my worst nightmare, like being the center of attention in that way. I don't know, it's just not really my like cup of tea. I would never want to have a big traditional American wedding, but I still think marriage is really cool. So I would say that I do believe in it, but mainly I believe in doing whatever is best for you. I don't think your relationship is any less if you, for example, are in a long-term relationship and you're not married, but you guys like live together, have kids together. Just because you're not married doesn't mean that your relationship is worse than someone that has the same things but is married. You judge those who wear or promote fast fashion. I don't think I like meaningfully judge people. I think a lot of times it's just because there's a lack of education, which is pretty sad, and it makes you want to educate people, but you don't want to come at them like aggressively by any means. I'm sure there is a good amount of judgment forming in here, but I wouldn't ever say anything. Probably I just would like to use my platform and speak with friends and people that I know about what my beliefs are and what I've learned, just spread the knowledge rather than be aggressive towards others. I've gotten this a couple times too, and I think some of you guys don't even know that we have a roommate, but this says, your apartment is more for you and Avery than your roommate, and that's why you're decorating it. That's not true either. Our friend Mike lives here, and it's just as much his apartment as it is ours. Yes, we do buy all of the furniture, but that doesn't mean it's not his home. It's more so Avery and I investing in new pieces that we have been wanting to have for ages, and things that we would love to bring into our forever home, and if they don't end up making it to our forever home, we can easily sell them because they are pretty much all pieces that hold their value steadily over time. I also got some assumptions that said you don't want kids, and that's also not true. I used to say that. I used to be so firm on never wanting a child, and I think that I still have my own beliefs on it in a way. Like, I don't think that you should have a child unless you're like dying to have a child, especially when there are so many children in foster care and to adopt, and with our environment, oh my gosh. But no, I definitely have a longing to like have a family and build a family of my own one day. I do want kids at some point. And also another way that that's changed over time, I went through this like period where I like transitioned into being like, okay, I can see myself wanting to have kids, but not until like the very last minute that I could have a kid. And I am not like that at all anymore. I'm like, oh my gosh, I kind of want to be a young mom, not super young, obviously. Like, I don't want to have a child right now, but like, who knows how it'll change. But I would like to have a kid before I'm 30, but we'll see. Someone said, you're hard to become friends with. I don't know if that's true. I guess maybe kind of. I'm kind of closed off at first, I guess. But I wouldn't say that that makes me like hard to become friends with. I think I'm generally like a very loyal person, and I have my relationships that I really value, and I don't necessarily go looking for new relationships all the time. Like, I'm not the type of person that wants to have a million friends just because that seems exhausting. But I don't think I'm necessarily hard to become friends with. I assume you're motivated to be organized, and being unorganized creates stress. That's kind of true. I'm unorganized in some ways, and in other ways I can be very organized. I think more so as I get older. I always say that I am turning into my mother in that way. Like, my mother was the type of person that would be using the vacuum in our house at like 6:30 a.m. before everyone's up. Which I am not to that point yet. But I would say for the most part, I'm pretty organized, and being disorganized does create stress for me. You don't wear a lot of makeup. True, I would say at least 50% of the time I'm not wearing makeup at all, and if I am, it's just like mascara and concealer and maybe a bit of eyeshadow. You're a homebody, kind of. It depends on where I'm living at the time, and if I like have space to move around, and if I feel at home somewhere. But definitely in our new apartment, I have enjoyed being a homebody in the winter months. You don't see your family much. Kind of already answered that. I do not go home much, so no. I usually see people once or twice a year. You're at the point in your life where you aren't freaking out about your future. I think that's pretty true, but I've honestly never freaked out about my future, which is maybe kind of scary because I feel like everyone around me is like freaking out about their future 24/7. But for some reason, it's probably naive, but I usually feel pretty confident in like my decisions, and I feel like I look inside myself a lot, I journal a lot, and I figure out what I want, and I know that I want it. And if I want to change my mind in the future, I'll figure it out. No, I'm actually not freaking out about the future. You make most of your income from social media, not STAATSBALLETT. I guess it depends on how you think about it. If you talk about like what goes on our taxes for the IRS, it looks like STAATSBALLETT makes the majority of my money. But if you're talking about what comes out of the company's business account to me, that is zero. And as I was saying earlier, I feel so lucky that I can do that and use our money for growing our business, because I have this as something that I can do. So thank you guys so much again. Moving a lot actually stresses you out. True, to some extent. I think it's always fun at first to kind of like run away from your problems and run away from all your issues and just like take time to like just run around if you can. But it definitely was stressful over the summer, like not knowing where we were going to be next. You've never been a party girl. That's not true, honestly. I know, like, if you hear me sit here and chat with you guys, I don't seem like I would like going out. Now I do only go out like once or twice a month, like actually go out, and still it's not like going out like it was for me when I was 18. What a difference. I'm pretty glad that I got my party phase out of my life, like at the end of high school and early college, because I just don't know how my body handled that, but it is over and I'm very glad. Someone said there's drama with your West Virginia friends, like Abby. No. I also got some other ones, like, you're no longer friends with Abby. If you guys don't know who Abby is, she was on my channel a lot growing up. She was one of my best friends growing up, and just because we don't see each other now, or just because you guys don't see it on social media, doesn't mean we're not friends. Same with anybody else you know from my hometown. I just find that for a lot of those friendships, it's not like something that you have to chat with them every day to still feel like friends. You know how you just have people like that and you can like see them like 2 years later. Like, I think I went 2.5 years without being in town the same time as Abby because her family dynamic changed and she got a boyfriend who didn't live in our hometown, and I went a long time without being able to see her, but it doesn't feel different when I see her now. So no, we're definitely still friends, still good. Someone said you are not very loud. That's very true. That's honestly like one of my biggest pet peeves, is just like loud people. I find it so obnoxious and annoying. Unfortunately, I'm sure some of you guys can relate though. It's not really like I judge those people or like I can't be friends with those people. It's just like too much and I just don't relate. Someone said you went vegan for the environment. That's pretty true. That's definitely like my main reason for eating the diet that I do, and then just what comes along with it is the way I feel eating that diet and other passions that I have gained from eating this diet. Like now I really love cooking and I love finding new recipes to make, and I don't find it gross because I'm not cooking with dead animals or hens' periods or like cow's breast milk or any of that gross stuff. Yeah, I think there have been a lot of things that have come out of it, and it's become much more like multifaceted, I guess you would say. You have an ideal relationship. I got a bunch kind of like that too. It's so funny how you guys are all on the same page. No one has like the most perfect relationship, but I think it's ideal for me. Like we get to work together, which is something that I personally really love. I truly can't imagine being with a partner that I couldn't also work with and be with regularly. It must be such a different dynamic. It's also challenging in that way to work with your partner, of course, but I feel like it brings a different sort of intimacy to your relationship that's really nice. And obviously we live together and have a lot of similar interests. But also saying that, I think a lot of people think Avery and I are a lot more similar than we really are. We definitely have a lot of differences and we grew up very differently. You're really nice and never get mad. Thanks for thinking I'm nice. Yeah, I would say that I rarely get mad, but I will admit that I'm a super big grudge holder. Like I mentioned earlier that I'm very loyal, maybe to like a fault. And also I feel like I can hold grudges for like my entire life, not in a way that it like affects my everyday life, but I just like can't let things go sometimes, even if I act like I let them go. That's just how I am. Is anyone else like that? Like forgive, but never forget? That's me. You aren't religious. True. I also got some. I had a religious upbringing and that's why I'm not religious now. Yeah, I mean, I absolutely had a religious upbringing, especially with my mom's side of the family, which is where I grew up pretty much. I went to my dad's every other weekend. His side of the family was still very much so involved in my life, but they did live kind of far away from where I lived with my mom, and yeah, I would have to go to church every Sunday morning, Sunday evening. And I think I started really being like not into it I was probably like 11. I started being much more introspective and realizing more about what I believed, and I probably didn't start expressing that until I was like 14. And then it was more of like, you have to go to church, like you have to do this, like you live under my house, under my rules kind of thing. Yeah, I went to church until I was probably like, I think until I got my license, and then I always wiggled my way out of it somehow because I had my own car, or I would like go to the actual church service, but then I wouldn't go to like lessons afterwards. I would like leave, or you know, be my rebellious self. Sorry, I had to move the camera for a second, but I don't know how much me being like kind of made to go to church affected my decision to have my own beliefs, I guess. I feel like I would have came to this point regardless. But yeah, I did grow up in a religious background, and I get it, like I really get it as I get older, just because it was a social norm. Like I did not grow up around anyone that wasn't Christian and didn't go to church regularly, or at least if they didn't, they would say that they did because that's what you have to do. to like fit in there, and like you are the worst person ever if you're not Christian, whatever. With that being said though, it's definitely more of like the adults in my town rather than the kids, or most of my high school friends were on the same page as me. I have to answer this one just because it's so wrong, and it's that I jewel. I absolutely do not jewel, okay? Please don't jewel. I know so many of you are probably already addicted. Like, most of my friends do. Don't jewel. It's not cool. I feel like the main reason people do it is because it like looks cool, but it doesn't look cool. But with that being said, I don't judge you. Like I said, pretty much all of my friends do it. Avery has been your only serious relationship. Pretty much true. And the last one, which is just funny, and it says, you're glad you're not associated with the LA YouTube stereotype. I don't really care. I think YouTube gets a much worse rap than it should in a lot of ways. I don't know, like I said, I like started such a long time ago. No one knew that they could make any money from it. Deep down here, I was like just looking for friends and just looking for people to chat about things that I wanted to chat about with, not really gain anything else from it. And I think that's where a lot of the bigger YouTubers started out. Of course, there's some people that started later, but yeah, I'm not really an LA girl. I'm not really like the typical YouTuber, I guess. I don't know. I don't mind people knowing that I'm a YouTuber. I went through a phase where I was kind of like, YouTube, like I don't want to be known as a YouTuber, but I really like YouTube. I think it's cool. And that's it for this video. I hope you guys learned something new about me and maybe got some entertainment from this, but I will see you soon with a new video on my main channel. A lot of videos on my main channel this month and also on this channel. So I hope you guys have a good day, and I'll talk to you later.